What would be some main like things about maybe just the way you would go about your job then with the insights and perspective that you have now?
I mean, I kind of think I hit on one of them, but delegation, like hiring the right people and delegation, obviously, it's really, especially for me, because I'm a control freak, it's really hard for me to give something up that I know that I do well. But the perspective that you can gain from that sometimes is your mind is so set on this is the way to do something that someone else can look at it and they can have a better idea than you do, but you don't give yourself or them the opportunity to realize that because you never are willing to give that up. So I would say delegation and trusting someone else to do what you've been doing is one thing I would probably tell myself to do a little bit earlier on. Well, part of it was we didn't have any employees. So in 2016, it was just myself and Bear. But maybe 2019, once we started hiring a few people, I could have given that little piece of advice to myself. Another thing I would tell myself, I mean, obviously, like at this point, I would just say like all your hard work is worth it. You know, it's like people always ask like, how did you build this company? And, you know, tell me about what you did to get here. And like, I'm sure Bear could put together a very well thought out idea or, you know, statement on how we got here. But I'm just someone that was like, dude, I just worked my ass off. Like, I don't really know. There was no like secret for me. I didn't read a book. I didn't go to business school. I didn't even like listen to, I mean, I know you guys listen to podcasts and you guys study the you know, company, you know, how companies are run and all that. Like I didn't. And like, honestly, like I can sit in a room and say like, I probably know less than a lot of people that work for Born Primitive as far as like education and knowing their craft. But like, I just am someone where if I set my mind to something and I want to get something done, I'm going to work hard to get to that point. And I don't like to quit or give up. So when someone says, you know, how did you get here? It's just like, I just fucking worked really hard and I learned as much as I could along the way. And, you know, you make a lot of mistakes, but you just learn from them. And like, we were very, very lucky that none of the mistakes we made was, you know, a company ending, I guess I could say. So I would say obviously like, yeah, keep working hard. It's going to be worth it for you. And everyone that works for you, which is super cool to say, to be able to say to yourself, you know, if I were to go back, maybe I'll think of another one, but I'll let Bear see if he has any first.
Bear, what would be the themes of the wave tops of your letter?
Probably, you know, encouraging myself to enjoy the ride a little bit more, you know, admire your handiwork. I think we're still bad at that.
Terrible.
Because when you're competitive and you're type A, as we've talked about, all the summits are false summits. You know what I mean? And you're never going to be there. So if you're never going to be there, like enjoy the ride a little bit, right? Because you can't just put off that gratification until like, we've like, because as soon as like when we hit the sales milestone that we've been talking about, you know, we're immediately like, okay, what's the next one, right? So even like a major milestone like that, which I'm not going to give the specifics on, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, and we had a major milestone that I texted Mal about the other day. It was our total sales figure that we exceeded something since in 11 years. And I did the math real quick and I texted you.
Did?
Yeah. See, you already forget. Exactly. That's my point. She's already forgotten. And this is something that I ignored it. This is something that is a 0.0001% outlier outcome for any business. And we achieved it. And I randomly was I don't remember where I was, but I was like, wait a second. I did the math quickly in my head because I have all my yearly sales numbers memorized. And I did it in June, we exceeded that. And I texted her and like literally she already forgot. So my point is proven that we're so focused on the task that, you know, we don't step back and say, man, this is actually kind of cool. Maybe we should celebrate these moments.
I'm down with like a, you know, all-inclusive.
Right.
To celebrate.
And we should have done that, you know, because for some listening, you might not know, but you know, Mal and I were married. When did we get divorced? Like 7 years ago? Was that when we were 30?
I think 2020.
2020. All right. 5 years ago, whatever. Kind of a blur at this point, but we could have been better during, you know, when we were married to celebrate those moments because, you know, while we weren't really reaping the financial benefits yet, there were still some really cool things, you know, like when we hit 10 million in sales in like the first, like on year 5, when it was pretty much still just me and you, like that's a crazy outcome. That meant nothing to us. You know what I mean? That wasn't like, holy crap, like, wait, what? You know what I mean? There was none of that. And in a way, it was a good thing because we stayed hyper competitive and we didn't like rest on our laurels and like get complacent. But at the same time, I think there could have been a little bit more like, hey, let's take a minute to celebrate this. And even like Mal, when we would go on vacation, you know what I mean?
Work the whole time.
Yeah, you know, get you being in Hawaii and getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to a Starbucks and work until noon is not normal, right? But that's just how we did it, and that wasn't even a debate. It wasn't like one of us was like, no, I want to have a vacation. Like, let's go like watch the sunrise or like go get a really nice breakfast. We were both like, oh hell yeah, you want to get up at 4:30 and go to Starbucks and work till noon? Done. In hindsight, you know, that probably wasn't great for the marriage, right? Like, you know, we probably could have been like, hey, let's give ourselves these 5 days and actually just completely recharge the batteries. And I still am on the fence on that, because what I've said before is like, I don't think it would have become what it did if we weren't kind of that, you know, that intense about it. Right. So it's like kind of choose your hard. Right. So that would be the one, I think, broad takeaway.